स्वयं रूप कदामि ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलम् श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपम् अग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथागतं तं सजीवम् अद्वैतं साजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह ललिता श्रीविष्णुकामृतां नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to the Manah Shiksha series. Yesterday we completed the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is quite elaborated, you see. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, especially Raghunath Das Goswami, is in his nature, Dushtatvam, Shantasyapapi, and filled with hypocrisy, wicked by nature. And then he quotes the prayers of Raghunath Das Goswami in the Sampradaka. And we went through the prayers. And then, he's still hopeful that the Lord will bestow his mercy and give the Ujjvala Prema, although he's not qualified. So that's quite exhaustively we discussed. So today we will discuss, I told in this commentary for this, Shivram Swami Maharaj has not given a commentary, but Bhaktivinoda Goswami Maharaj has given a commentary. And we will read this commentary today. यथा दुष्टे धवति षट्स्यापि कृपया. Raghunath Goswami explains how we can eradicate dushtatvam, wickedness. That mercy will deliver me from wicked nature. Kripaya. Dushta is there. Davanti means eradicate or drive it out. And there is not only that, there is policy also. It sometimes happens that when we are performing sadhana, it feels like we are just marking time, and there never seems an end to our anarthas. Some things may have already gone, yet here they are again. I was experience. I thought, many years back, the anartha is gone, but after many years again, it's that it's still there. This is because of perverted actually always been there, which are influenced by the gunas of material nature. So the deep perverted conditioned nature is deep rooted there because we have a material body and mind and the influence of the gunas. Raghunath Das Goswami calls this perverted nature Dushatvam. So this perverted nature is actually Dushatvam. So the voice is breaking up. Let me see if I change the connection. Hare Krishna. There is some, you know, issue with the internet today. Yes. I hope it is clear. So even if one develops prema, one stays, I am still a hypocrite. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu authors an amazing verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhilila. न प्रेम गंधोस्ति दया में हरो क्रन्दामि सौभाग्य भरम प्रकाशितुम् वंशिवलस्याननलोकानां विना बिभर्मि यत् प्राणपतंग आन्तरिक्ता. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, I have not the slightest hint of love of God within my heart. न प्रेम गंधो अस्ति धरापि me haro. When you see me crying in separation, I am just falsely exhibiting a demonstration of my good fortune. Kandami saubhagya bharam prakashitum. Where tears are coming from my eyes, it's just a false exhibition. Indeed, not see beautiful face of Krishna playing his flute. Vamsasya anana lokana vina. I continue to live my life like an insect without purpose. Vibharmi yat prana patanga kant vritta. In one sense, this is the nature of prema. Prema never knows it is within someone. So when you develop prema also, you will not come to know that, you have prema for the Lord. I flee from them because not only do they not have prema, they have no conscience. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I have not the slightest change. I am a cheater. Even on the highest levels of devotional service, such a person feels like a cheater. One devotee, trembling and crying, asked God if she would ever develop prema. He looked at her and said, you will, but you will never know that you have. This is the love. I already mentioned that when wandering in the material world, we cannot feel satisfied with anything material, so we look for spiritual love. So, right in the first verse of the commentary of Manah, Maharaj had made this point that the soul is looking for pure love. But when we develop this love, we will be satisfied but not satiated. This is the nature of prema. We will continue to feel spiritual thirst or spiritual insatiability. In one sense, these words by Raghunath Das Goswami describe both the highest platform and the state of the mind of a devotee still on the path. It sometimes seems impossible to eradicate our perverted nature. It is true that as long as we have this material body and mind, our vices will emerge seemingly from nowhere. So that's why Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna, uh, I think it is in the fifth chapter, Krishna makes this point very emphatically. Uh, Fifth 523. Eva Prak Vimoksha Kakro Vegam Sinara. Long as we have this body, as long as we don't give this body, anytime the Vegas of calm and growth can attack because we have a material body and a material mind. So we should be careful. These vices can anytime emerge. Anytime they can emerge. Our voice is breaking. And I'll just change the location and see whether it works well. Give me 2 minutes. It is true that as long as we have this material body and mind, our vices will emerge seemingly from nowhere. So I quoted this 5.23, Shaknoti eva shodum, Prak Sharir Vimokshanat. As long as we have this body, anytime the Vegas of Kama and Krodha can manifest. Then we catch ourselves desiring to enjoy the material world again. Cheaters want to enjoy like Krishna, deeply within convinced that they are meant to enjoy. This lust or desire to enjoy pervades everything. Lust is all pervading this universe. So we have to be very careful. So Lord Chaitanya says, I am Shakti. And even though I'm a cheater, despite my complex nature, I'm hoping for your mercy, Kripaya. This famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita describes a devotee as the one who, in spite of everything, hopes for Krishna's mercy because he knows he is absolutely hopeless in this case. Sometimes we may feel desperate, thinking there is no hope for us. But at this point, we remember Krishna is merciful and his mercy is more than my hopelessness. So, this is how the devotee should feel himself, Despite all my hopelessness, his mercy excels. Therefore, Krishna Kripa Kariben Drid Kari Jane. There is this confidence that Krishna's mercy will come. And in the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, uh, Anukulasya Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjanam, Rakshishete Vishwaso, Goptrutve Varnam Tata, Atmanikshepakarpanya, Sadvidi Sharanagati. So Rakshisheti Vishwas, Krishna will protect me. Vishwas, this confidence. Goptrutve, Krishna will maintain me. This having this confidence that Krishna will bestow mercy is a sign of surrender. Raghunath Das Goswami makes a very important point here in verse 8. Yatha dushtatvam me davayati shatyasyapi kripaya. Even if I am a shatya, I will be able to, I will, I will be able to be rid of it by your mercy. Although I'm like this, by your mercy, I'll be able to get rid. Moreover, he says, Yatha mayam premamrita api dadatya ujvalaso. You will give me premamrit, the nectar of prema, and not just prema, but ujval prema, which means the most elevated love for Krishna. Dadyapti api. You will give it to me. Dadati means to give. There is no getting away from it. He says, Yatha Gandharva Bhajana Vidaya Prerayati Mam. There's a third thing you will give to me, and that is the opportunity to serve Srimati Radharani. He addresses Krishna directly saying, you will give me these things, you will smash all my wickedness, make my heart absolutely pure, and give me Premamrit, Ujvala Premamrit, nectar or immortality, which can give love for Krishna. And you will give me the opportunity to serve Srimati Radharani. Yatha Shri Gandharva Bhajana Vidaya Prerayati Mam. And in the 4th line, he clarifies when this will happen. Yatha Goshte Kakva Giridaram Iha Tam Bhaja Mana. Literally, these words mean Yatha Tatha Goshte. It will happen if I am in Vrindavan. Goshta means Vrindavan, Vraja. Kakva Giridaram. If I am here, I will get those mercies if you, my mind, worship Giridhari, the Lord who lifted Govardhan Hill here in Vrindavan. So now my question is, hear it carefully. What are the 4 things which the Lord is going to do in spite of our wicked and hypocritical nature? What are the 4 things? Raghunath Das Goswami is stating here? What are the four things? Who will answer this? What are the four things? Anyone would like to try? What are the four things? Birendra Yadav Prabhuji. What are the four things? I hope my question is clear. Krishnapad Prabhuji.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji Dandavat. Prabhuji, sorry, I missed because I am in temple, was discussing something with a devotee.
That's why I'm asking the question whether you are present here. Dr. Archana Mataji, what are the four things?
Rukush, I can tell you the third thing because there was a doubt in my mind. Generally, Radharani will bestow the mercy on us to worship Krishna, but here Krishna will bestow his mercy to get the mercy of Radharani. That was the third point. And, first two, even I missed those 2 points.
Yeah, the first one is, although I'm wicked by nature, I'm hypocrite, you will bestow your mercy. And you will give me Ujjvala Prem. And also you'll give me the inspiration to, worship or serve Srimati Radharani. And where it will happen? It will happen here in Vrindavan, Goshte, because you are Giridhari. So my question here to the audience again, hear carefully, ultimately to attain all these blessings and mercy of the Lord, which is the Prayojan deity we should worship? Which is the Prayojan deity to worship in Raga Bhakti? Anyone who would like to answer this? Who would like to answer this? Which is our Prayojan deity? Anyone would like to try? Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Prabhuji, you have mentioned Govardhan Giridhari.
Yes, Giridhari. So worship of Giridhari or Giriraj or the Govardhan Shila is exclusively meant for attaining perfection. And those who are on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, who are qualified as sadhakas who are practicing Raganuga Bhakti, only they can worship under the guidance of their spiritual masters. In the Vaidhi Sadhaka stage, one can worship Shaligram Shila because Prabhupada also mentions about it. But Shaligram Shila is more in the Vaikuntha mood. And if you want the Vraj mood, it is the Govardhan Shila. Giriraj is going to bestow. And that's why, if you see in the past time, Mahaprabhu gave the Gunjamala and the Shila, which was very dear to his heart, to Raghunath Goswami to worship. And Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojan Acharya. So it's only by worshipping Giriraj we can attain this perfection also. Kakva Giridharam Iha. If I'm here and I will get those mercies if you, my mind, worship Giridhari. So please mark this very carefully. Giriraj is Kamagiri. He will fulfill all our desires. And how will you worship? Kakva means with one's heart burning, with a deep emotion within one's heart. So this is the mood in which we should worship. Raghunath Das Goswami mentions that the devotees who associated with him Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Sarup Damodar Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of them had just left the planet. In the previous verse, he said that all the problems will be solved if I serve these advanced devotees. Prabhu Daitya Samantam Atulam, the generals of the army of devotees. So the previous verse, ultimately to become free from Pratishta Asha, it was mentioned the solution as to serve the pure devotees. But Raghunath Das Goswami's situation is that all these pure devotees had left the planet. But he is no longer able to associate with them because they are no longer here. In verse 8, Raghunath Das Goswami tells us what we are supposed to do even if there is no chance to physically associating with an advanced devotee. He recalls the gift Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to him, the Govardhan Shila. The Govardhan Shila. This tiny Govardhan Shila is still in the Radha Gokulan temple in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed this Shila with his tears, leaving his thumbprint on it. That Shila, along with the Gunjamala, a garland of small red and black berries, was bought from Vrindavan to Puri and given to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He later gave that Shila to Raghunath Das Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes how Raghunath Das Goswami worshipped the Shila as Krishna himself. So the Govardhan Shila is not different from Krishna. It doesn't need any pran patishta. He realized that the Shila would be his inspiration now that these great associates had departed. Raghunath Das Goswami uses the word Giridhari. It is not without reason that he uses this name of Krishna in this verse. It is important for us to understand that we always have a chance to receive Krishna's mercy. Our spiritual master gives us permission to worship deities, which is supposed to be done in a special mood, and especially worship of, in the beginning stages of our sadhana, it is always recommended that we worship Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Gaur Nitai, and if there is Radha Krishna also, then the mood of worship is more in the Aishwarya mood by rules and regulations. But when we are qualified for Raganuga Bhakti, these same deities can be worshipped in a different mood, but especially to attain Prayojan, Govardhan Shila is the worship recommended. We should realize that deities are non-different from Krishna himself, and then we will have Kakva within our hearts. So the deities are non-different from Krishna. And then our heart has these spiritual emotions, the bhavas. So I just want to, take a detour here and, explain a true story of Lala Babu. Prabhupada mentions the name of Lala Babu in Nectar of Devotion. He was a very rich zamindar who got inspired just hearing some sound, when he was sitting in his palace, in the open theater, enjoying the scene. And suddenly in the small hut there, a girl was telling her father, wake up, Baba, wake up. It is time for sunset. It is, sun is going to set now. And Lala Babu, just hearing these words, he felt the call was of the voice of Srimati Radharani. The time is going to set means the time for death is coming very soon. Wake up to spiritual awakening. So Lala Babu, being a very great, rich zamindar, that day night, whole night he could not sleep. And next day morning, he told his wife and children that I'm leaving and going to Vrindavan. He just, became detached overnight in one night. And in Vrindavan, he was, very famous as Lala Babu doing Madhukari. And later on, he established Radha Krishna deities. And I don't remember the deity names. They are still in the Vrindavan. But out of his bhava, he saw the deity is non-different from Krishna. And once he told the pujari, oh, in Vrindavan it's very hot, and the deity also might be feeling the heat. So keep butter on the deities, and let us see whether the butter will melt. Because Krishna's head must be hot. He's a person. So the pujari followed the instructions of Lala Babu, and when he kept a little butter on Krishna's head, the butter melted because of heat. And Lala Babu, because of bhava and emotion, was in ecstasy and he fell unconscious. So this incident happened once. And the next time, Lala Babu, in his pure bhava, he told the pujari, so the deity is living, so the deity should breathe. So hold a cotton thread before the nose of the deity. Now, the pujari was really taken aback. What is Lala Babu saying? What is he saying, But yet he followed the instruction. And when he held cotton thread before the nose of the deity, he saw that the, thread was moving. The deity was breathing. And Lala Babu, in his spiritual bhava, uh, went into ecstasy, So this is how the deity was reciprocating with the spiritual emotions of Lala Babu. But those who are not at this advanced stage, who are Kanishta Adhikaris, who see the deity uh, uh, at different levels, and we had mentioned there is the, Jadamaya, Manomaya, and the Anandamaya. The Jadamaya means the deity is something material. Manomaya is, it is just a pointer. And the, at the highest level, Chinmaya is at the level where the deity is directly Krishna. So we have to come to that advanced Uttamadhikari level where we see the deity non-different from Krishna, and then the spiritual emotions, takva within our hearts will be there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself relished the story of Sakshi Gopal. So Maharaj is now uh, uh, narrating the story of Sakshi Gopal to prove this point, how the deities are non-different from Krishna. When a young Brahmana came and addressed Sakshi Gopal, who was then just called Gopal, Gopal, you should come with me and bear witness. The old Brahmana made the promise before you that he would marry me to his daughter. He is your devotee. You should uphold his promise. I don't care about marrying his daughter, but you must come and bear witness to protect this old Brahmana, because that old Brahmana has made a promise in front of you. So you should keep that promise. Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Gopal replied, have you ever seen a statue walking? They don't walk. I am a murti. I can't walk. What do you want from me? Gopal spoke like this. The young Brahmana looked at him and said, if you can talk, why can't you walk? He continued, Pratima nahi tumi, Sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. Sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. You are not a statue. Pratima means a statue or a picture. You are the son of Nanda Maharaj himself and can walk and talk. So Prabhupada, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in one of the purports, makes a very heavy statement. And he says, what is the use of your practicing of Krishna consciousness if you cannot talk with the deities? So if you come to that advanced stage where you can talk to the deities, then there is value to your practice of Krishna consciousness. So this is the state we should come to, that you can directly speak to the deities. And, there are many instances of great acharyas who could directly speak to the deities, even in the past and in the present also. At least at our sadhaka level, um, we should not try to imitate the advanced level that we are talking to the deities, but we should, at least from our side, speak our heart to the deities, and the deities will reciprocate to our prayers, and then slowly the relationship will become deeper and deeper when we come to an advanced stage where the deities also can speak to us. But definitely all devotees have this realization that when we offer our prayers to the deities, we feel that the deities have heard our prayers, and sometimes the deities reciprocate to our prayers. So that realization we have, but maybe directly the deity speaking to us uh, is not within our realization. But definitely at the beginning stages, we should offer our heartfelt prayers and speak our heart to the deities. This we should do as sadhana. You can also run. In the Upanishads, it is mentioned, that the Lord runs faster than any of the demigods, Tad ejati, tanejati, it is mentioned. This is the most important thing we have to understand. Arche Vishnu Shiladhi. There is a verse in the Padma Puran quoted in Padyavali by Rupa Goswami, which says that even if one thinks that the Archa Vigraha on the altar is a stone, marble, or bronze, or iron, then where does he live? If one hasn't understood the real nature of the deity, one lives in hell and will continue to live there. This verse says that we need to understand that hellish consciousness means material consciousness, which deprives us of the opportunity to truly worship Krishna or approach him. Srila Jiva Goswami makes a very important point in the Bhakti Sandarbha. He says that people who truly worship Krishna, who know what it is to worship Krishna, do not see the difference between Archa and Krishna himself. They don't see any difference. This is where the difference between our philosophy and practically all other spiritual philosophies lies. Worshipping deities is so valuable. Wherever you go, you will hear people decrying worshipping idols. They think that deity worship is adultery. But the common person does not understand that God is almighty and is capable of associating with us through any form. What to speak of other people? Even we do not understand that God and his energy are almighty and that he will personally associate with us through his deity form if we are in the right state of consciousness. This is very important point in our philosophy, because after all other philosophies are more or less contaminated by Mayavad. There is no difference between Krishna and the deity installed according to Pancharatra principles. Jiva Goswami himself says that the very moment a deity is installed according to all the principles, Krishna comes there in person. So this faith we should have. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami makes a similar point in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhilila. Nama Vigra Swarupa, Tina Eka Rupa, Tine Bheda Nahi, Tine Chidananda Rupa. Tina means three, Nama means name, Vigra means form. Swarup means Krishna himself. So there is no difference between Nama, Vigra, and Swarup. That's why Archa Vigra is incarnation, deity incarnation of the Lord. And Nama is also an incarnation. It is Nama Avatar. They are the same. There is no difference. Eka Rupa means the same. The name of Krishna himself, Vigra is Krishna himself. The name is Krishna himself. And Vigra is Krishna himself. He further says, Tine Bheda nahi, Chidananda Roop. There is no difference at all because all of these are Chidananda Roop. They consist of eternity, bliss and knowledge. Even the Archa Vigraha, although made of material elements, but once the Lord comes and resides there through the Pran Pratishtha, it is completely Sachidananda. Raghunath Das Goswami is implying that sometimes we have no chance to associate with advanced devotees, but we always have a chance to associate with deities. We have a chance to associate with deities. We should just understand who this is on our altar. Srila Jiva Goswami confirms this fact. He states that worshipping a deity is the way to get rid of all our problems. Sometimes we look for other ways to solve our problems. He says that we have two problems in Bhakti Sandarbha. Kadar Shilanam and Vikshipta Chittanam. Kadarya Shilanam means bad character developed in previous lives. So Raghunath Das Goswami also made that point. Shatyasya, Dushtatvam. So this is there because of our conditioned, perverted nature in this material existence from time immemorial. In the material world, we developed inevitable bad habits because such is the nature of material life and the nature of material relationships in this world. We wonder what others will do to us if we don't have the ability to become angry, for example, to protect ourselves. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami says, Kadar Shila Nam, we don't need anger to associate with Krishna because anger destroys this association. Vikshipta Chittanam is the flickering mind which cannot concentrate, cannot meditate, or think long about anything. It is a mind that always desires something. Today it wants one thing, tomorrow another. After 15 minutes, it wants something else. Vikshipta Chittana means that we always want to do something other than what we are doing. If I'm sitting, I want to walk. If I'm walking, I want to lie down. Srila Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Sandarbha that worshipping a deity delivers people from these two things if they worship properly. So which are the two things? By worship of deity, which get resolved or solve the problems, as Jiva Goswami is stating. Which are the two things? Which are the two things? Yes, Rasparan Mataji.
Maybe one is bad character. I forgot the name.
Yes, problem.
And the other is Vikshipta Chittanam, that is flickering mind.
Yes. So because our body is contaminated by the modes, and the body is impure, and the chit is also not, pure because of the influence of the modes. That is why it is recommended deity worship. And even to chant the holy names, you have to have a peaceful sattvic mind. And deity worship helps, and that's why worshipping the deities is very important. Worshipping a deity keeps us within limits if we really understand that this is Krishna himself. And this is of great importance here because if one thinks the deity is a statue, it is clear that nothing will come out of the worship. We invite deities to our home and connect with deities to remove our problem and vices as soon as possible. It is said that if we worship a deity, placing all our thoughts towards his lotus feet, this deity will come to us at the moment of death. Not just some abstract Krishna, but Krishna in this same form. Krishna in the same form will come. He will save us. If we have realized that we are part of our deity's entourage, we will remain in his retinue. Now, these 2 points we have to mark. Now, let us do some small exercise to realize this statement. If we have realized that we are part of our deity's entourage, we will remain in his retinue. So let us ask devotees, how many devotees at their homes have deities? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yes, Subrut Prabhuji, will ask him. Subrut Prabhuji, who all are there in your family?
Family. 2 daughters, wife, myself.
Okay, so how many total stay in your home?
4.
4.
And this.
And answer came later. Who are the deities now?
Actually, it's Gopal, Laddu Gopal. And
Okay.
Shaligram, but it's other devotees there. They've gone somewhere for a few days.
Shaligram is there.
Yeah.
Shaligram is there?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Shaligram?
Actually, it is like Matsya and
Okay,
Kurma.
Matsya. Okay, now tell me who all stay in your home.
Including the deities in my family.
No, first it is Gopal, Matsya, and then your family members.
Yeah, including my deities.
And then how many members are there at home now?
Yeah, that's what I said. Gopal and my family.
Yes, so there are 6 members, right?
Yeah.
So once it so happened that I and a very senior devotee had gone to visit a family. They had invited us for prasad, and they have a small house, and practically the entire main hall is occupied by huge deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And they have very less space for themselves also. In fact, if you see, there is only one big hall and a kitchen and only one room. So this senior devotee was honoring prasad. I was sitting in front of him and also honoring prasad. And the senior devotee asked, so how many people stay in your family? So the Prabhuji said, me, my wife, and my 2 children. Then the senior devotee said, what about these deities, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra? They are not part of your family. And then he mentioned, every day, when you're going out for work, ask the permission of the deities. Tell that, why you're going out. And you come, form that I had gone for this and now I've come. So talk to the deities, speak to the deities. They are part of your family members. They are the masters. So if we have realized that we are part of the deity's entourage, we will remain in his retinue. This is the point. Everything will come to us due to correctly worshipping the deity in a proper consciousness. This topic surfaces again and again. At the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami enumerates the 3 deities he had visited before writing the book. He categorically states that Madan Mohan is Krishna himself. The following are stories illustrating that deities of Krishna are non-different from Krishna himself. First is the story of Sakshi Gopal. So now the deity stories are there just for us to have faith that the deity is non-different from Krishna. Before Sakshi Gopal came to Vijayanagar in Andhra Pradesh in the south of India, there was also an interesting story of him getting to Cuttack. One of the ancestors of Maharaj Prataprudra, the king of Odisha, modern day Odisha, had heard of this deity who had walked all the way from Vrindavan to Vijayanagar to bear witness for the young Brahmana. This ancestor thought, I have the best deities in my kingdom, Lord Jagannath, but I want to have this Gokal in my kingdom as well. With a very small army, he came to the king of Andhra Pradesh and said, I have only one request, give me Gopal. The king of Andhra Pradesh refused, preferring battle rather than giving him the Gopal deity. but he lost. His opponent said, again, I make the same request to you. I have defeated you. I don't need your kingdom. Just give me Gopal. The king of Andhra Pradesh replied, I am sorry. I can give you my kingdom, but I won't be able to give you Gopal because he doesn't belong to me. I belong to him. You should sort it out with Gopal. If he wants to go with you, you are welcome. The king came to Gopal and said, Gopal, I want you to be in Orissa. Gopal decided to speak from the sky. This time he spoke from the sky. You want me? I want you to come with me and I will serve you. I will build a temple for you and take care of you. Okay, I'm used to walking. I love it. But you should meet the same requirements. The same requirements for the young Brahmana I told. Every day cook for me rice and offer. That young Brahmana, when he was walking along every day, begged rice and cooked a hill of it for me. I still remember how delicious it was. Gopal is cooking. So you should have to do the same thing. You should ask for rice in every village and cook a hill of it for me. As you say, I am your servant. The king took off his crown, his royal armor, and his weaponry. He clad his body in a simple clothes and went to beg alms. Gopal watched him to make sure that he wasn't cheating. All the way to Orissa, he begged alms until at last they reached Cuttack. When he arrived in Cuttack, his wife, who had a valuable pearl that had been handed down from generation to generation, knew that Gopal was coming. She thought, what shall I give to Gopal? I should give him everything, right? If I belong to him, I should give everything to him. So she prepared this valuable pearl nose ring to give him. She called the Pujari and said, Dear Pujari, please decorate Gopal with this pearl. The Pujari approached the deity and started looking for a hole in the nose. There's no hole in Gopal's nose, he said. She became upset and said, okay then, keep this pearl somewhere, but I want to see Gopal with this pearl in his nose. Gopal came to her in a dream and that night and said, this Pujari doesn't know anything. Yashoda pierced a hole for me. The Pujari just couldn't find it. Tell him to look carefully. I remember having Yashoda pierce the hole. The queen woke up happy and ran to the Pujari. First thing to say, look for the hole, it's there. The Pujari went and found the hole, although it wasn't there the day before. So he had this valuable pearl put on the Lord, thus responding to the queen's devotion and bhakti. So the deities respond to the bhava of the devotee. We have to have that bhava. And this is a very elevated stage. Another story is about a village in Rajasthan called Karoli, where the deity of Madan Mohan is now living. This is the deity that Advaita Acharya originally found, and later Sanatan Goswami worshipped him in Vrindavan. Even later, when the deity had left Vrindavan in fear of Aurangzeb's invasion, he was moved to Jaipur, where he resided for some time, worshipped by the king's daughter. The king's daughter was given to Karoli. The daughter was so attached, so he asked her father to give the deities, and that's why they moved to Karoli. Her father, as a custom in traditional Indian families, had arranged for his daughter to marry a prince of a small kingdom in Karoli. When he announced this to his daughter, she fainted. She said, I have already given my heart to Madan Mohan. How can I go somewhere and part with him? For the sake of propriety, I can get married, but I'm not leaving here. Her father replied, I'm sorry, but everything has already been arranged. His daughter said, then you should give me Madan Mohan because I am not going to go without him. The king himself was very attached to Madan Mohan and said, okay, you will take you you will be taken into the room with the lots of deities. If blindfolded, you guess which one is Madan Mohan, you may take him with you. She went to her quarters and started to cry and say, Madan Mohan, how will I find you? Madan Mohan replied, when you touch me, my skin will be warm and soft, so you will know at once. Also, I am going to break my flute. I will put my arm down a little and the flute will break. These are the two signs that are going to help you to find me. So the blindfolded princess was quick to find Madan Mohan. In this way, he moved to Karoli. In Karoli, each morning, the entire village attends Mangalarati. Some people even make Dandavat all the way from home to the temple. Everyone goes, the sick, the old, the young, and everyone. They sometimes call Madan Mohan the one who stole a tray for a Muslim. So this is the story. So within that Madan Mohan, there is another story of a Muslim. Once there lived a pious Muslim in Karoli. Every day he would read the Quran, praying and meditating on Allah. He wouldn't look at deities because from the point of view of Islam, this is the most serious crime ever to consider that God could manifest himself in some tangible form. So to prevent people from committing offenses, all of these warnings were incorporated in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. He was a devout Muslim, respected by all the Muslims and revered as a saint. Hindus also revered him as a very pious man. Externally, he was an ordinary man who worked in court delivering letters. Once he was sent with some errand to Madan Mohan's temple, where a Goswami was in charge. While passing by, he accidentally looked into the window and saw Madan Mohan. He couldn't believe what he had seen. He fell in love with him at first sight. He delivered the letter to Govindji, stopped and started to look through the bars. Then he thought, what am I doing? I'm a faithful Muslim. He ran to the mosque and started to pray, deliver me from this obsession. But when he closed his eyes, all he saw was Madan Mohan. When he opened his eyes, he only saw Madan Mohan. Wherever he went, he saw Madan Mohan and finally understood it was hopeless. Madan Mohan means one who attracts and draws us. And at his whim, Madan Mohan completely revealed himself to this Muslim. He forgot everything, stopped going to the mosque and reading the Quran, and instead composing songs about Madan Mohan. All of his Muslim brothers thought he is an infidel. Fidelity means to maintain chastity to the parampara. Infidelity means, to be unchaste. The most terrible thing that could happen to him was to be excommunicated from his religion, and he was. He then went to the temple, but when they learned he was a Muslim, the doorkeepers forced him away, pushing him down the steps and making him fall. Before this, both Hindus and Muslims respected him. So this is what the deity does. He completely, makes us materially, rejected. He went back to his home and started to cry, saying, no one needs me anymore. I have given my heart to God. There is nothing else in my heart. Some way or other, God revealed himself to me and entered into my heart, but everyone expelled me. He decided to keep fasting until death. He had been fasting for just 3 days when Madan Mohan couldn't wait any longer. Usually in the evening, the pujaris would place an expensive silver tray of sweets for Madan Mohan in case he would wake up and feel like something sweet to eat. The pujari left, closing the altar doors and locking up the temple. Later, the Muslim heard a knock on the door. He answered it and saw a youth he had never seen before. The youth said, Govindji from the temple has sent me to you with Mahaprasad. Here it is. Have some, please. But you should bring the tray back tomorrow for Mangalarti. He replied, but I was kicked out. The youth said, tomorrow you won't be. Come for Arti early morning tomorrow, bring the tray, and everything will be all right. When the Muslim supposed, what was the Muslim supposed to do? He ate everything on the tray as he had been fasting for 3 days. But during the night, Madan Mohan came to the Goswami ji and said, you shouldn't have kicked out the man. I haven't seen him for 3 days. He's coming tomorrow morning, but you should let him in. You will recognize him because he will be carrying a silver tray. Early in the morning, one of the pujaris woke up, went to the altar and saw no trace of the costly tray. He clutched his head in his hands, ran to Govindji and said, the tray has been stolen. It has been stolen. Honestly, I had nothing to do with that. The Goswamiji smiled and said, the one who stole it has already admitted it. Don't worry. Madan Mohan had stolen it. The Goswami went to the Maharaj of Karoli and told the whole story. Maharaj couldn't believe that a Muslim could develop such strong love for Krishna. So they were both standing and waiting for him at the temple gate. The Muslim was walking, carrying the tray in his hand, with a strange feeling in his heart, thinking, this is a strange story. First, I have never seen that person in the temple. Second, he gave me this tray. He may have stolen it and then got scared and given it to me. Or perhaps the tray may have set me up. When he approached the temple, he saw the Maharaj himself and the Goswamiji standing in front of the gate. So he thought, well, I'm dead. He was in no doubt that he was going to be put in jail. But when he approached, Goswami said, I have been waiting long for you. You are so fortunate. Why? Asked the Muslim. And then both the king and the Goswami started to talk all at once. You are incredibly lucky. He was at a loss. What had happened? Nobody told him anything. He started to think, why has everyone changed their attitude to me so dramatically? Only a few days ago, they kicked me out, not wanting to see me, and now they are welcoming me with open arms. A suspicion crept in, and he asked, where is the servant that brought me the tray? I have never seen him before. They told the Muslim, the servant is there waiting for you on the Simhasan. But he is not a servant anymore. Suddenly it occurred to him what had happened. Everybody rejoiced. All in all, it ended well, except that he couldn't live in the village anymore because of all the fuss people were making over him. There is still songs in that place glorifying this story. The tray that Madan Mohan had taken to the Muslim devotee is still there in the temple. The moral of the story is that what Raghunath Das Goswami is speaking about, even if there is no hope, there is always hope. What hope? The hope comes from understanding that Krishna's mercy is more than my hopelessness and that he himself may do everything possible for us if we serve him. This process is the most practical thing ever. People attend seminars learning how to manage their time. But why manage time? Everything is already managed. One should have the following routine. Get up when the deity does, go to bed when the deity does, eat prasadam for the deities, and then things will appear as this verse describes. All the dushtatva, all the impurity will leave our heart. Premamrit, love for Krishna, will enter our heart, as well as the opportunity to serve the Queen of Raj. So that's the end of this deity stories. Especially Maharaj narrated the Madan Mohan deity story and the pastime of the Madan Mohan with the Muslim. So the essence is that ultimately to become free from our wicked nature, to get Krishna's mercy, express our hopelessness, and we will be getting the Ujjwala Premamrita, and we will getting the inspiration to serve Srimati Radharani here in Vrindavan by worshipping Govardhan Shila. All this can happen if we worship the deity, considering the deity non-different from Krishna. So that's the essence. Okay, so we'll stop here. In the next week, we will begin with Manashiksha verse 9. 9, 10, and 11 are very, very brief. So that will not take much time. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai. Shri Manashiksha ki jai. Hare Krishna.